ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verses 18 to 24.
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ताः मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्थाः अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारम् यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन् देही देहसमुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैः विमुक्तो मृतमश्नुते। अर्जुन उवाच कैर्लिङ्गैस्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारः कथं चैतान् त्रीन् गुणानतिवर्तते। श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकाशं च प्रवृत्तिं च मोहमेव च पाण्डव न द्वेष्टि सम्प्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि काङ्क्षति। उदासीनवदासीनः गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणा वर्तन्त इत्येव योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते। समदुःखसुखस्वस्थः समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः तुल्यप्रिया प्रियो धीरः तुल्यनिन्दात्मसंस्तुतिः मानापमानयोस्तुल्यः तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी गुणातीतः स उच्यते मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते स गुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्याव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्यैकान्तिकस्य च
What happens if one is able to get away from the influence of the three gunas? It says, if you get away from this, then you are no longer influenced by change. It doesn't bother you anymore. Otherwise, every single thing bothers us. So Arjuna says that, can you please tell me a little bit more about this kind of person? What is he like? What is that man of realization like? So what marks as he who has crossed over these three gunas, O Lord? What is his conduct? And how does he go beyond the three gunas? So what is he like? How does he behave? And how did he achieve this state? Obviously, because, why is he asking how did he achieve this state?
Because he wants to achieve.
Because he's obviously finding it difficult. ये होता कैसे है भाई? You know, I'm influenced by gunas all the time. Here is a person who's not influenced by gunas. How does this happen? So that's what he's asking. How? I mean, like, how does that even happen? It's a certain amount of what should I say? Disbelief in this. A disbelief in the sense he has been telling him all the time. No, nothing new in what he is saying. Most of the Gita is just repetition. That's why people are keep asking you, oh, y'all are on 14 chapter, 18 chapter, 20, 12 chapter. Can I join now? Yes, you can. Because Krishna, knowing our ability to take in information, repeats it and repeats it and repeats it. इसे ऐसे बोलेंगे वैसे बोलेंगे चलो भाई किसी तरह तो समझ लो इसको. So yes, you can join at any time. We of course we believe in systematic study and we'd love if we could start from the beginning, but that's water under bridge. So if you want to join now, of course you can join now because it's okay. He's going to repeat a lot. He's going to repeat everything. So now he's going to tell us exactly what he told us in chapter 2 in a different way, because the way he told it in chapter 2, obviously Arjuna hasn't understood. Nor have we. If we understood what he is talking about, what would happen?
You will pick up the bow and fight.
Yeah. You will, and in our case, what is picking up the bow and fighting?
We'll actually get down to do karma.
Okay. We develop mumukshatva. You want to get the heaven out of here. If you understand a word of what he's saying, we don't know even the previous verse. What was that verse he said? Janma mrityu jara dukkaihi. The sorrows that come with it. the whole process. We don't get it. We think, I'm so happy. It's so good over here. The whole process is sorrow. When you think you're enjoying, you're in sorrow. But we don't get it. We can understand, हाँ कभी कभी कुछ बुरा होता है. It's not कभी कभी कुछ बुरा होता है. Even when you think that you're enjoying, you're still in sorrow. So now, how will you accept that? How will anybody accept that, right? Suppose you're having a gulab jamun and you're saying, "Wah wah, kya gulab jamun hai? This is heaven." And somebody tells you, "No, it's not. It's hell." How can you believe? It's impossible, right? Even if you have complete faith in your teacher, the teacher is telling you that this gulab jamun is really bad. There's no joy in it. मुझे तो जॉय मिल रहा है, आपको नहीं मिल रहा, आप नहीं खाओ, आपका शेयर मुझे दे दो. You know, you can't believe it. How do you believe these things? It's so so counterintuitive. So there's a little bit of, we don't get it. We don't get that this is just the whole thing. See, because obviously you can say, okay, mrityu I understand is unhappiness, but why is janma unhappiness? Which parent having given birth to a child says, oh, I'm so unhappy now? कोई बोलता है? Just jumping and dancing with joy. फिर देखो आगे क्या होता है, क्या बोल सकते हैं. But not only आगे क्या होता है, the thing is, even then you're not in joy. That is very difficult for us to grasp. That how when I think I'm happy, I'm not happy. Now don't try to understand because it's not going to be possible. Philosophically, it's a philosophical idea we have to get. That I do not know that something is unhappiness unless I
Get better happiness.
Experience it.
very good. See what a smart class. Everybody knows. Until I know a better happiness. I do not know that this is not happiness. See, if you're living, if you've only eaten, I don't know, you've only seen a bullock cart. And you say, I'm very happy with a bullock cart. But you never seen a car, you never experienced the speed of the car or the AC of the car or anything. You're going in the hot sun in the bullock cart slowly पहुंच ही रहे हैं, बहुत गर्मी है, and you're happy with it until you sit in somebody's air conditioned car and say, oh, nice cool air, I'm going in and I'm going so fast. So you don't know that this is not ideal until you know something better. So that's why he says that he who understands all these sorrows, he moves out of it. So then Arjuna obviously says, okay, tell me about this person. How did he reach? How did he manage to learn this? I am struggling for the last 20 years. I cannot understand it. So how did he manage to do this? Please tell me. The same sadhana, the same everything you're going to hear again. Nothing is going to be different. It's just in different words in the hope that it goes in somehow. Right? So first he's going to, of course, explain the qualities of the person. So let's do verse 22. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kamshati. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kamshati. prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava. So these are very simple words. Like prakasham means what? Light. Pravritti means action. Moha means delusion. So, O Pandava, Pandava means Pandu Putra, as you know. Pandava is a derivation of Pandu Putra, O son of Pandu, Prakasham, cha Pravrittim, cha Moha. So, what does Prakasham, Pravrittim, Moha represent?
Gunas, three gunas.
Tamas.
Good, not three gunas: light, action, and delusion. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Na dveshti sampravrittani. When you have obtained it, means when it is there with you. Na dveshti, na nivrittani. You do not hate it. Sampravrittani, na nivrittani kankshati. You don't have akanksha for it. Nivrittani. Nivrittani means retired, gone. When it is gone, there is no akanksha for it. When it is there is no hatred for it. In other words, it makes not an iota of difference to you whether you're dealing with tamas or rajas or sattva. Now you can just try and digest that. You don't long for something which is not there, and you do not hate something which is there. So when there's prakasham, light, give me examples of when you like it when it's there. No, give
Electric-
both. Huh?
Electricity,
No, actually, sattva.
Clarity.
Yeah, you like it when it's there. Now, when do you not like it when it's there?
Lack of clarity in others.
Okay. No, you have to give an example of it's there, but you don't like it.
And you have to get up
Right.
and exercise.
Okay, very good.
Janki spouse.
Okay, I'm sure your spouse will be happy that you're thinking she's sattvic. Very nice. Yes, you like it. Okay, let's say you like sattva when that clarity is there, either in your mind or someone is giving you advice that makes you clear. You like it. You don't like it when
Yeah,
the
yeah.
teachers.
Chaos is there.
Raman,
Chaos is there.
when
No.
someone has said something which is not which is uncomfortable to you,
Very
it's the truth, but you have to face it, and that makes you uncomfortable.
Very good. Excellent. Very good, Anupam. Mm. A sattvic person can see what's wrong with you. If that person tells you, then you want to run away from that person. Yes, when any advice makes us uncomfortable. Correct. So you like it at sometimes, you dislike it at sometimes. And that's why, especially, every class begins with one very important line. You know what that line is? In
Not-
context, please don't say the whole prayer now.
I will not hate the teacher.
I will not hate the teacher. No, we will not hate each other.
Oh, sorry.
Wherever there is sattva, but it clashes with my ego, I will hate. It could be from the teacher to the taught or the taught to the teacher. Both ways it can function. One day when you all maybe take up to teaching of this subject, somebody in your class may point out something to you which is not palatable to you, but that person is right. Then what will you do? So it both ways, or in various ways, in the presence of sattva, in the book also, in the text also, he says, if you remember, when the Rakshasas meet sattva, they run away. They don't want to be anywhere near that person. So you will see people running away from you. Now, don't say they are all Rakshasas. I don't know which way it works. But whenever there is sattva and it is not, you don't want to be near that person because it's too much. Too much of your own frailty is seen to you. If you're with a very disciplined person, you don't want to be there because your own frailty is too much for you to take. So many people don't like to be anywhere near the teacher. They run for their lives because पता नहीं अब क्या करना पड़ेगा. So all the time there is a like for it and a dislike for it for sattva. Now let's do rajas. When do you like it and when do you not like it?
When your desires are fulfilled.
When a person is fulfilling your desires, yeah. His rajas is fulfilling your desires. Give an example. That's theoretical. Give an example.
When your husband is listening to everything that you say nicely and following it.
Okay, that I don't know whether that's his rajas or not. We'll talk about when you're meeting rajas.
When you're meeting rajas. So,
yeah, so he gives you a Valentine's Day bouquet. So you're very happy with life.
When both of you like the same movie.
When both of you like the same movie. Okay. Meeting rajas. You're meeting
When-
rajas.
When your maid comes on time to work.
When your maid comes on time to work, okay. Here comes this first joy. Second joy, she's
Yeah. I have a problem with that, Janki ji, that is why. On time.
Who doesn't over here? Then what else? So when you meet rajas, sometimes you're happy with it, and sometimes when you meet it, you're not happy with it. So you meet rajas when somebody is very active and their action is going to fulfill you. Then you're very happy with it. Your husband is very active and he's earning a lot of money, you're very happy with it. But if you're, when you meet rajas, which is not to your liking, like he goes off and has an affair or something. Then you're like, oh, this is so horrible. I didn't know you were so much rajas. Or anything, even somebody if we meet Milan Soman. You know Milan Soman? If you meet Milan Soman, no, you don't know Milan Soman. He's very famous here.
Athlete.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he an athlete? He was a
Model,
He was a
model turned
triathlete.
athlete.
No, he's a model. He's a model.
good looking
Model
athlete.
turned athlete.
athlete. Oh, okay. I thought he was just a jogger or something. He's a
No, he used to participate in triathlons.
Oh,
Triathlete.
oh my gosh. Okay. So you meet Milan Soman, and Milan Soman says to you, "Oh, Aditi, I'm so delighted to hear your music." Then you're very happy. But suppose he tells you, Aditi, come with me to the triathlon. And you'll say, Baba, mujhe maaf kar do. You're running away from him. You'll go, okay. I have to give you another example. Okay, he tells you, okay, Aditi, from now on, you stop wearing chappals. No footwear for you. Then maybe you'll run away. So every time you meet it, either you are dveshti or kankshati. You're hating it or you're longing for it. Either when you meet Amitabh Bachchan, you are not liking him, dveshti, or you're longing to meet him. One of these two things are always happening. And then tamas. Tamas is very, very good. The best time you meet tamas is when?
Sunday mornings.
In the morning. Or sleepovers. These kids, they go to sleepover. Then they just hang around, lounging around. They go in their pajama suits only. They're just lounging around. Very happy to meet. But you hate to meet tamas in any staff member. So there are times where these three gunas are of appeal to you, and there are times when all three gunas are not of appeal. Because our thought on this is, oh, if I meet sattva, I'll be very happy. Not at all. Not at all. Only when sattva is doing what I wanted to do, I'm happy. So, prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham evacha. Indeed, Pandava, oh Pandava. It's very, very simple Sanskrit, as you can see for yourself. Na dveshti sampravrittani. Na dveshti, does not hate. Sampravrittani. Na nivrittani kankshati. When it goes away, it doesn't like, long for it. So, when a person is there, you don't hate the person for being there. And if the person goes away, you don't long for the person to be there, including the maid. You don't long for anyone coming and you don't long for anyone's going. Simple, no? So now, prakasha means light, light means knowledge. You understand that is sattva, right? Then if you are interested in action, now you're just using a word, you have to understand it. Don't think of action as rajas, please. Interest in that action is rajas. And moha means delusion, means your brains don't work at all. That is tamas. You just don't get it. Even if someone were to explain it to you, you won't get it. So that's tamas. It's delusion. You can't reach a tamasic. Wherever there is tamas in our personality, nobody can reach us. Like, see all the qualities of tamas: rigidity, seeing a part of as a whole, stubbornness, irrationality, taking one thing and thinking it's the whole thing. Like, there is a person, excuse me, who looks after his car. He spends 3-4 hours a day looking after his car. His car is in pristine condition. It looks like it's like 10-15 years old, but it looks like it was driven out of the showroom today. It's so good. You can't see, looks brand new. Fabulous. But he can't get along with his family. He has no money to talk of. His health has gone down the drain. But that car is very good. Some people are like that about their body. Body has to be perfect. Head can be upside down. That doesn't matter. Body has to be perfect. So at every, this tamasic element is to look at one thing. Some people take discipline like that. They're so obsessed with their discipline, they will not break it, come hell or high water. Deepra just smiling too much, okay? I don't like people smiling when I say this. That means they are thinking in their mind, acha chalta hai, thoda break ke to. No, sorry. But that obsession with discipline. Swamiji used to tell us that your discipline is known by whether you can break it or not. Means he didn't tell us that first. First he told us, you can't be disciplined, you're an idiot. Then he told us, if you can't break your discipline, there's something wrong with you. So, in Vedanta, it's like, it always feels like that. Yeah, make up your mind. Yeah, he used to, Swami Chinmananda used to tell this story to his students that, when he first joined Swami Tapovan, that time, he just couldn't relate to bhajans and all. Swami Chinmananda, he was originally a journalist, very intellectual, all analytical and all this, and he was so not interested in the bhajans. So when he was in the ashram in the Himalayas, not even the ashram, they were all living in very makeshift arrangements. So they were living there, and then the nearby villagers used to come in the evening because there's some saints living there. So they used to come and sing a few bhajans. And at that time, Swami Chinmananda used to walk off. He didn't even sit for those bhajans, for the own bhajans. And all the villagers are singing it. He used to go. So one day his guru pulled him up. He said, what, have you no heart? You can't enjoy bhajans. The name of the Lord is being said and you are going away? And he ticked him off. So what to do at that time? There was great deep devotion for the teacher. So okay, fine. Hello, bhai, if you say I have to sit, I will sit. So in spite of the fact that he didn't want it, he sat down. And slowly, as he sat there, he started getting into the spirit of it. And then eventually, he was so into it. During bhajans, tears would roll out of his eyes. And this went on for some time. Then one day his guru called him again. He said, crying and all, are you a girl? What's wrong with you? So then Swami Chinmananda got really bugged. First, I was not interested. You forced me to get interested. Now I'm getting interested. I'm saying, are you a girl? And you do feel like that, in the spiritual path. When I do X, then you tell me do Y. If I tell you Y, then you tell me, oh, what is the stupid thing you're doing Y? But that's growth, right? You have to move from tamas to rajas to sattva. You cannot, your tears have to come to the very eyelids, but never come out. You have to feel deeply, but be totally in control. If you don't feel anything, then what are you going to control? There's nothing to control there. So, where were we?
We're saying how discipline can turn tamasic.
Very good. So, discipline itself can be tamasic. Because you all remember, right? Don't get carried away. Anybody will take you on a merry chakkar. You must remember the point. I hope you all remembered the point. Tell me who all know at the point at which all this digression took place. How many? Please raise your hand. How many remembered? Okay, Deepraj, you can't answer. You're not allowed to answer anything any further, Deepraj. Oh, nobody, not a single person. Quite sad. Okay, chalo, I give you marks for honesty. Nobody remembered where we took off. That means nobody was listening. And why are we talking about discipline?
Yeah, because you're discussing tamas.
Okay, thank God. Right? So, when you fall in love with something and you become rigid about it, and nobody can get through to you. Oh, we must, whatever, I must be disciplined. I must save money. I must keep my house clean. All of these are obsessions. You don't get it at all. It's very interesting. So it's delusion. Can you talk to these people? You just can't talk. You have to, you know how in the Gita he described it? It described it like a fetus in a womb. Because 9 months you have to wait. You can't do anything. That baby will come out on its own. So similarly, when we are getting into that state of delusion, nobody can do anything. The rest of the world has to simply wait till you come to your senses. It's not like you're going to listen to a single soul. Whatever the consequence of that behavior, you are going to face. See, if I give very easy examples, are like someone taking drugs. Can you argue with that person and say, don't take drugs? I mean, before he's addicted, can you tell him, no, don't go down that street? So this we easily understand. But when it comes to discipline, when it comes to what we think our duty, mothers say, this is my duty to my child. Or children say, this is my duty to my parents. Pagal log hai kya? Some people violate their swadharma in this claim for duty. You can't do that. You can't look at one thing and then make a judgment about the whole thing. This is my duty. This is my discipline. Fallen in love with hundreds of things. And can't tell. Yeah, Aditi, you had a question? Sorted? Okay. So, when it is there, yes, Bharat.
Yeah, so this inability to break this makes it tamasic, right? I would
not the inability to break it, it's the inability to see it.
Why would it not be Rajasic?
Because delusion is the quality of tamas. I mean, that's by definition. Delusion, Rajasic people are not deluded. There's a difference between delusion, which is tamas, that head is not working. A Rajasic person's head is working. He's doing calculations. He's not obsessed with work. He's obsessed with getting the money from that work. But when a person gets obsessed with work itself, that's tamasic. That's why they say workaholic. A workaholic is a person who wants results, which is rajas. That is a rajasic quality. But you're so caught up in the work कि पता ही नहीं चल रहा है कि that work is giving you result, not giving you result. I mean, if you're loving that work very much, okay, that element may be rajas. But that the work has taken priority above all things in your own mind. Like, that's the single thing you can ever see. And then that's delusion. The quality of rajas is you are seeing a part and believing it to be the whole. That's the very definition
Of tamas, you mean?
of tamas. Rajas's definition is, this is it, na? Kangshati, dveshti, I'm longing for it, I don't want it. This is rajas. But delusion, like a rajasic person, he may hate to do something, right? A rajasic person is very egoistical. And his ego is very important to him. But if he has to surrender that ego to get some more money, he'll do it. He may hate doing it, but he'll do it because he's not lost his head. The tamasic person will be egoistical to the point that he's ruined himself and everything around him. Like, he can't see anything else. The rajasic person can see other things. He has no idea what is the priority of things, but he can see them. Clear?
So a tamasic person would be one who has lost sight of where this action is going to head, right? And he is unwilling to take fresh measurements, basically.
Yeah, he's unwilling to take fresh measurements because he can see only one thing. He can't see anything else. Like, for instance, suppose you say, I have to get up in the morning and study at 4 o'clock. And then you're very, very fixed on that. Then one day at 4:15, there's a bell at your door. And the neighbor has said, please, can you take me to the doctor, to the hospital? My husband seems to be having a heart attack. You say, no, I'm studying. It's 4 o'clock. This is tamasic. But if you think in your mind, no, I don't want to take. Who's going to spend all that money on the cab and all that? That's rajasic. Because you're seeing factors, right? Not seeing only, then it's tamasic. So you see all sorts of things. Or I better take her. Kabhi mera heart attack hoga, to fir they will take me. This is all rajasic.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, Deepraj.
How do you see this rigidity, this concept of rigidity, in the context of the Ramayana, where Dasharatha, even though his wife made an unreasonable request, still went through with it?
How do I see, meaning what? She made an unreasonable request. But that's a value system they stood for. And the point of the Ramayana is not to explain to you the concept of tamas. The point of the Ramayana is to explain to you the concept of discipline. One book, one story cannot tell you anything. So the whole point of Ramayana is that Maryada Purushottam. Raghukula Srita Sada Chali Aayi, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. Right? So the whole discipline, this is your first step in the spiritual sadhana. You cannot accomplish this, you're not going to get anywhere. Right? So Ram avatar comes first. Then comes Krishna avatar. Our friend Krishna, तो कोई discipline नाम की चीज ही नहीं है. Like he can do anything, anytime, anywhere. So that's the second thing we learn. That first you control yourself within rules. Okay, that's like when a plant is young, you give it that, that fencing around it, so that it's not eaten up by animals and birds, or the wind doesn't knock it down because it's still growing. But once it becomes a tree, that fencing is removed. So all rules become inapplicable for Krishna, not for us. Please carefully understand. Krishna is free to do anything because the rules themselves have become inapplicable because he's got 100% control over himself. Now these rules are very important because they are our, what should I say, Lakshman Rekha. In the book, I think whenever we go to Happiness Guarantee 2, we will study that either you must have control over yourself, which none of us have, or we have to follow rules. But if you're so good that you can follow that rule 100%, then you don't need that rule anymore. I mean, if it sounds complicated, just think of it like, that switchboard behind you. No child is allowed to touch it. The rule is don't touch it. But as you grow, you get more and more flexibility with reference to it.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we good with this? Everyone is clear about this? When you're not interested in something, it is tamas. When you're interested in it, it is rajas. When you have a disinterested interest, that is sattva. A disinterested interest means you understand its worth, you understand its value, you put in all your effort into it, but you do not give it a black market value. So you understand the whole picture. You understand where it fits in the picture. And that is what is so critical. And that is why karma is always recommended to us at first step. Because, tell me why?
Because it helps us bounce it off with the real world. It's like we're not all in our head.
Yeah, very good. Because the real world gives you consequences. That is why it is Mother Gita, but father experience. Because father will give you one whack. Mother will explain nicely, so sweetly. She'll say, Beta, aise nahi karo. Mother Gita, she's going on and all explaining. Kuch palle pad nahi raha hai. So we need little fatherly ticking off. Now, please, everybody, don't get on my case and say I'm feminist or I'm male chauvinist or something. Some days I'm accused of being a feminist, some days I'm accused of being a male chauvinist. Please see the whole picture. It's only a poetical representation. Who says mothers are not strict? Who says fathers do this? Mera sir nahi khao, please understand the point here. The thing is that through text, through logic, through reason, you're not getting beaten up. You come to group discussion, you're not really getting beaten up because you have a wrong notion in your head. People will tell you you're wrong, you don't listen. 1 hour is over, gaye gar. You don't really get high consequence. But when you go out in the world and you try to put that theory into practice, तो अब पीट जाओगे. The problem is, जब पीट जाते हो, you think the world is wrong and I am right. You even think of things like, oh, those people, they don't understand my sattva. You're on madhouse. Constantly, if you are sattvic, you know how to deal with it. You don't make these artificial, I don't know what, barriers. That's why it's very easy to deal with a sattvic person. If you ever deal with a sattvic person, you'll find it easy. Mahesh is not nodding. That's a bit frightening. At least he should not. Because he has the maximum problems around here. Every day he has to listen to something or the other. So the thing is that when you become a flexible person, you're dealing with what is in front of you, not what is in your head. When you're not a flexible person, you're dealing with what is in your head, not what is in front of you. तो फिर जग से अच्छी मार पड़ेगी. Now the solution for that is not that you go to the gym and build your muscles. Please, some people are building their muscles. Please, वो solution नहीं है. क्या करो यहाँ build करो. Then there's some hope. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, Bharat, don't take me seriously. Right, now what? Is this verse clear? Shall we go to the next one? Then verse. But quit what, Bharat? That's the big question. Okay. Verse 23. Udasina vadasinaha gunairyo na vichalyate gunavartanta ityeva yovatishtati ningate udasina vadasinaha gunairyo na vichalyate gunavartanta ityeva yovatishtati ningate. Na ingate, does not move. This is the same word you heard in chapter
3, chapter 3.
3. Where chapter 3? Just like that. Tukka le liya. Now slowly all 18 will give every number. तो कुछ ना कुछ बचेगा ही. Which chapter? We have 25 people in the class. 25 will say one of these 18 chapters. Somebody has to be right. Remember, as a lamp in a windless place, na ingate, does not move. Does not move. Udasinavat. Udasinavat. What means like. Udasina means unconcerned. Couldn't be bothered. Now people read this word as udasina and they forget the vat. Couldn't be bothered whether the Vedanta University comes up or not. Like a person, not bothered. To be working 24/7 for it. Not leaving a single stone unturned, but unconcerned. Now, that is the quality we're looking for. Working for a PhD in mathematics night and day, leaving no stone unturned, and not caring about that PhD. Working to do a musical night to raise funds for the university, working day and night for it, and not concerned with any funds coming out of it or not. Now, please understand this carefully, because this is where this whole country went wrong and the whole lot became tamasic. Udasinavat, like a person unconcerned. When we're talking about being unconcerned, we're talking about a mental attitude. Asina, udasinavat. What a beautiful construction. You must remember you're doing poetry here. Seated like one unconcerned. What all does this mean? Seated means you're not even acting, right? When can you not act? You can be seated like one unconcerned when your clarity is so high that you know the exact point where you need to do something. There is a there's a famous sort of joke or something, and it says that a man went to fix somebody's yacht, and when he went to fix the yacht, there was a certain, all he basically looked around, and then he took a hammer, he hit, and it started working. Like on TV in the olden days, wo box tha. When it didn't work, we used to go dumb, we used to go, yes. And it was to work. So that yacht, multi-million-dollar yacht, he took his hammer, he did dumb on it, and it worked. Then he sent a bill of $10,000. So the yacht owner said, what nonsense to hit a hammer. I don't need to pay you $1,000. So then that man said, yes, you're right. Then he took back the bill. Then he sent another bill. To hit the hammer, $1. $999 to know where to hit the hammer. So seated like one unconcerned means you're actually not doing anything because nothing is required to be done. When it's required to be done, how it's required to be done, you're instant in your action. So that's why he's saying seated as one unconcerned. Means wo to maja le raha hai, means enjoying life. But he has not forgotten. He has not moved from whatever he's doing. He just knows the right time to do it. Many times we take the right action, but we don't take it at the right time. Like a common example is, suppose you are or your spouse or your friend or anyone, your parent, depending on your stage in life, is taking a really bad emotion-led decision. And they are arguing for their decision. Nonsense arguments. And then you, or they ask you, is it good? Am I doing the right thing? And you say, have you heard yourself? What nonsense are you talking? Is there any meaning in what you say? Do you think you will ever change that person from the track? What you're saying is right, but it's at the wrong time. You have to wait for those emotions to subside. Or sometimes, maybe one day, Mahesh will come to us and say, this is the girl I want to marry. Shall I marry her? Is she looking good? Now, as a parent, what will you say to him? Will you say, no, are you mad, Mahesh? Why are you marrying this one? That one was so much better. Will you say that? If you say that, he will run away from you. So what will you say? Yes, very good, very good. So saying the right thing at the wrong time, when a person is being emotional, you are starting being intellectual. Pagal hai kya? When a person is emotional, you have to be emotional. You have to hug the person, cry with the person, or whatever the person requires from you. You and I'm an intellectual. What do you mean you're an intellectual? You deal with the situation in front of you now. Or get out of the situation, one of the two. So doing the right action at the right time is very important. So you want to advise a person, wait till his intellect is predominant at least. Go talk to him at 4 o'clock in the morning. No, don't wake him up. But, talk intellectual when the person is being intellectual. Don't, or the other way around. Somebody's talking to you all intellectual stuff, and then you say, oh, I love you so much. I never want to trouble you. Please. Just deal with the point in front of you. Right? So, udasinavat asina. Seated like one unconcerned. You have to get what he's trying to get at. This is not the time to do anything. Don't do it. That doesn't mean he's unconcerned. It's like unconcerned. Na vichalyate. He is not moved. When? Why is he not moved? Because he understands. Guna guneshu vartante. Which chapter? Guna guneshu vartante. Gaya? Which is
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
Very good. Itna to everybody has to know chapter 3. These are all the famous verses. Very good. Chapter 3. So, gunaha vartante iti eva yo avatishtati na ingati. Gunaha means that's a sandhi, that's why you can't see the visarga. Gunaha vartante. The gunas function. Iti means quote, you know that, right? Eva yo avatishtati. He who understands that. Na ingate. Does not move. Does not move means doesn't move, he's just sitting there. It means he doesn't get carried away. Now you may think to yourself, how? How is it possible? And there's only one way this is possible for us as a sadhak. For him, it is possible because they realize so. That part is easy. But how is it possible for us? Because this is not only what he does, but this is something that we also have to do. And for him, it is just like breathing. But for us, we have to struggle with it, right? So, how do you do it? There is only one way this can ever be possible in our life. What's that way?
When you focused on the ideal.
Very good, Bharat. Excellent. When more than anything else, the goal matters to you. And you know perfectly well that if I do anything now, that goal will not be achieved. When you're so focused on that ideal that you can't move from it, no gunas will ever influence you into action, because the only reason you're acting is what takes me there. And if that ideal isn't strong, if that goal isn't fixed, there's no way. You will always be influenced by the gunas. There is no other way to do it. But for us, for him, he is merged with the self. This is for him natural life. It's breathing. So every time, it doesn't matter in big things or small. In everything you have to work at. If you go to the gym, you have to remember, what have I come to the gym for? Let us say that I've gone to the gym to build my health or to build my muscles, whatever it is. Then you know perfectly well that there are days where you ought not to go to the gym if your muscle is to build. Or you can't do certain things if your muscle is to be built. If you have done legs one day, now 3 days you can't do them. You can't say, I want more muscles, so I will do legs all days. You can't do that. For one day you've done legs, now 2 days you'll have to not do them, even if you love doing them. I mean, it's difficult to love doing it, but I'm sure somebody like Bharat must be loving it. But he also can't do every day, right, Bharat? You can't do legs every day, no?
No, you can't, and I hate doing them.
Yeah, legs is not no fun doing legs. So the day you have to do legs, you have to do legs. And the day you don't have to do it, you don't have to do it. You can't say, I'm so determined, I'm going to do legs every day. I want perfect legs. Nahi kar sakte. So that day you're sitting, udasina vatasina, no vichalyat. He's sitting quietly, not doing it. And in his not doing, he's actually doing. Because any further action is not going to help you. Most common example for that will be a mother telling the child. Many times, you're not telling is the work you have to do. So, udasin, it's not because you don't care, it's because you care a lot. Udasin avat asin, na vicharyat. The goal is so important, like for the mother. The well-being of the child is so important that they have to swallow whatever they have to say. Just shut up. Otherwise, you'll lose your power. You will not be able to take the child in the right direction. Same thing with spouses. Just shut up. Udasinavat asina. Sometimes in a negotiation, you have to sit back like you're unconcerned. Udasinavat asina. Na vichalyate. This works in the 1,000 ways, even going off your path. You have determined this is what I'm doing, and nothing can make you move out. Yes, Bharat.
So action in the wrong time could actually prove detrimental, right? It prove and move the goal further away.
That's right. So when you're not influenced by the gunas means no external force, and by external in Vedanta we mean external from a Vedantic perspective means anything other than the self. Yes, other than the self, correct. Anything other than the self. But we are on the relative level, so at the relative level, we'll say anything other than the intellect. The mind is not making you do it. Other people are not making you do it. The situation is not making you do it. You know that this action or this inaction is taking me to my goal, and therefore I am doing it. Okay, so that's it for today. Meet again.